Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing that back to my attention. And so we're going to go in here and we're going to share the screen. And in sharing the screen, please, if you have questions as we go along, just interrupt me. If I was with you right now, I wish we were having a conversation, not a presentation. And so is that sharing? I don't think that's sharing. And so if I say anything that doesn't make sense, if I say something that is confusing, if you want clarification, please just stop me. Let's get clarified. And again, think of it more as a conversation than a presentation. So if we go over to our tool suite, remember that everything that we do, interwoven throughout everything, is the goal of growing one's social media presence. Because if we grow one's social media presence, that is the most certain way to grow one's influence. And if we grow one's influence, that grows one's future market value. That is simply the truth. And so let's just look at each one of the various capacities as we go through them. First of all, I'm hoping that all of you have activated your accounts. If you have not activated your account, I encourage you to do so now. You don't know me, but here's the truth. No one is going to follow you any place where you are not going. You cannot point to someone and say, go there, and have any anticipation of them going there. My observation is the only way to cause another person to go there is for me to go there first, to lead them there, not to tell them where to go. And so the very first, just ask yourselves each this question: have you yet upgraded your account so you can use it? If not, then you are a tourist. You were described to me a moment ago as being part of the core group, the leadership group. Well, ask yourself right now, what do you want the people to do who join you in our business? Have you yet done those things? Have you activated your account and so on? If the answer is no, act upon that today. Then what is the next thing we want people to do? Once they activate their accounts, we want them to know and understand exactly how this works. I mean, exactly, so they can get value from the first day. Uh, uh, what I what I try to pretend, or the way that I act, is though that each person that I bring into the business desperately needs to receive back the money that it costs them to join before their credit card bill comes due. Now, we of course know that's not always true. There are many people who join us that are in a fine financial circumstance, but I behave in every instance with the assumption that the person who joined me desperately needs to get the money back that it cost them to join, and they have to get it quickly. So I behave that way. I want to have every person do what I call win the race to profitability. The way to do that, the very moment that you activate your account, as soon as you log in, it is going to require you to begin teaching it. The AI, Lev AI, is a tool. And the tool put in the hands of one who does not know how to use the tool will not create the same outcome as the tool put into the hands of one who does know how. And depending upon the sophistication of the tool, the more knowledge one needs to have. For example, if I hand you a shovel, that's a very unsophisticated tool, and it won't take very long before you could use the shovel as effectively as me, even if I've used a shovel for a long time. If, on the other hand, you were to put me on a backhoe, now you see it's quite different. It would take quite a bit of knowledge and skill for the backhoe to do a better job than the shovel would do. And so right now, if we have someone who's become a member of Lev AI, but they've not learned how to use it, it's no different than going from a shovel they were using before and now sitting on the seat of a backhoe, but they don't know how to use the backhoe. And so the very first thing for you to know is that if we fail to properly train our AI, if we don't train it, then it doesn't know what to say or do. It's starting from no place. And so if we don't properly train it, then it will be, by definition, generic. If you were to use Chat GPT right now, it would be generic because it doesn't know you. We want to be better than Chat GPT. That's up to each of us as an individual, whether or not it is better, because it depends on how well we teach it. And so the very first moment I began attempting to use this Lev AI, in my eagerness to see it, I was so excited to see the tools that when it got here and it said to train it, I wrote in one word sentences. That was it, just one word or one word responses. I didn't give it any thought. And so then when I started asking it to interact as me, it wasn't interacting as effectively as I thought it should. It didn't know me. And so my first counsel to you is if you have not yet activated your account, do it. Immediately upon activating your account, then train your AI. And so it's going to ask you, who are you? Why are you here? And so on. I will tell you that the more you write here, the more effective it will be. If you don't tell it anything, it will be okay. If you teach it, if you spend a few minutes when it says, think like me, and you describe all of the various things that you are interested in, all of them, not one or two, it will become more effective. If you ask it to write like me, how do you communicate? Do you use humor a lot? What is your writing style? If you don't tell it how you interact, it will figure it out over time anyway, because it will see what you write in posts and so on. And every part of our solution is communicating with the other part. So it will gradually get closer anyway to you, but let's have it be close right from the very start. So my first guidance is simply upon logging in immediately, do not do a shortcut here. Train your AI. And then let's just go through it piece by piece. I'm actually going to come back around to this one, even though it's the first one in line. I'm going to come back around to it a little bit later on. It's not the most important part of this conversation right now. The most important part of the conversations center around here. It is first how to access the lead database. This is important simply because it is so very encouraging to other people. When other people realize they have access to literally a countless list of people who are interested, they've already opted in to home-based business. They've already opted in to learning more about artificial intelligence. They're a part of a database of people who said, I want to know more. So now, if my newest member has access to people who want to know more, this will tend to be more encouraging, less frightening. I'm able to reach out to someone who is asked to be contacted. That feels different. And so, for example, if I were to just say, well, I want to work in Manila, in the Philippines, and I don't know anybody in Manila, I'm going to spell that wrong. There's Manila. And I could put in here various interests if I want. I would like the person to have real estate background. I would like the person to have network marketing background. I could put in any kind of information that I want to get more and more specific to the individual I'm looking for. And I can determine, do I want men, women, do I want both? And then I determine which list I want to get the candidate for. You see, if I put in here leadership personified, that is going to search for a candidate who has more interest in leadership. If I put in Lev AI, that is going to search for a candidate who has expressed the fact that they want to know more about the way that artificial intelligence works. And now when I click get a prospect, and by the way, this service, this part that I'm showing you right now, this is only available to those who have the pro pack. If you have the basic package, you do not have access to the lead database. Um, I realize when I say some of the things that I say, I live in the US. And of course, the economy in the United States is the biggest economy in the world, notwithstanding our various problems, it's bigger. And so if I sometimes make a statement that seems insensitive, I'll say that, $100, of course, everybody can do that. Well, I know that everybody can't. And I know there are a lot of people in some of the rural areas, especially in the Philippines, for whom that $100 is going to be a big stretch, not a little stretch. So I don't want to push people to buy a package they cannot afford. I do want, however, for everybody to realize their likelihood of success is bigger with the larger package. It just is, because of a couple of the added services that I think are important. That being said, let's help each person make the decision that is right for him or her. Now, in this case, what did it do? I asked for a candidate, and so I have this candidate. He's in the investment banking industry. It's a male. I can learn a few things about him here, the things he likes. What's his personality like? Composed, he's thoughtful, he's agreeable. When I click view candidate, now I get so much information about this individual. I know literally everything there is to know about this person. The reason that that's important is because now it lets me provide information that they have said that they want to receive, as opposed to me trying to convince them to be interested in something I'm interested in. When I create the candidate, remember I asked it to add this candidate to my contact list of Lev AI. And so now this candidate is being automatically added to that candidate list. Then my own observation is when you hear me say that I've never interacted with anybody who has done all that is required to succeed, but done it poorly and therefore failed, that's the truth. I don't meet people who do what's required to succeed, but do it poorly and fail. I meet people who don't do what's required to succeed. Sometimes this is because of lack of knowledge. More frequently, it is because of fear. They're afraid. Well, it is this very thing I'm showing you right now makes it less fearful. They're able to have their initial interaction with someone who asked to be contacted. That feels different. Every time that interaction is made, it is growing one's knowledge and confidence and making them more able to reach out to people that they do know. But now the next point is what? Most people that I've interacted with are not especially organized and steady and consistent in terms of follow up to bring the point from an initial contact all the way to a positive conclusion. And so now in this case, I've got this new contact, Carlo, and I'm not interacting with Carlo now. And so I simply set a date. How often do I want to be in touch with Carlo? Well, every week. And so now every week on Sunday, I am going to get a push that is going to remind me that it's time to contact Carlo. And when I do, my AI will give me a report of what every interaction has been so far. When did I last contact Carlo? What was the nature of that contact? What was the message that I sent him? What was the file that I sent? And so on. And so it will deliver to me every Sunday morning, every Sunday. When I click in here, it is going to give me a recap of the people that I need to follow up with today, and it's going to show me what was my most recent interaction with that person, and it's going to suggest the current interaction with everyone. Now, what I just described to you is what happens if we use my prospects. If I go to my prospects, what that will do is lead me to this database. If I go to add new lead, now this is a totally different thing. This is no longer me accessing the database. This is now me accessing my circle of influence. And so now, if I go to Facebook, if I go to LinkedIn, if I go to Instagram, if I go to any social media profile, I need only, and by the way, I would illustrate it for you right now. However, I'm using an iPad right now. The system, it's been well described. The system is not yet optimized for mobile devices. That will happen before October 5th, excuse me, before October 31st. And so right now, if I were using Samantha's desktop computer, then I could show you this function. With my mobile app, I cannot show you this function right now. All it requires is that I do a screenshot. But once again, it does not work on mobile today. It will before the end of the month. It works beautifully on a desktop. All I need to do is do a screenshot of any social media profile. I go to Jerry Llewellyn's Facebook page. I do a screenshot of the front page, the profile. And now in a matter of seconds, when I drag that screenshot into this box, it says drag and drop social profile. When I drag and drop that social profile, it will then immediately, when I click get started, it will then give me all of the same information that I just showed you that I received from the database. When I click get started, it will then tell me every single thing about that person. What are they excited about? What are their pain points? What are they looking for? And so on. And that then gives me a chance because now I know. In the Philippines, I don't know if a song called Escape was popular. In 1979, a song was written. It was called Escape, and it was about a couple, a man and a wife, who had grown distant from one another. The relationship wasn't fresh, it wasn't vibrant. And as sometimes happens, started wandering away. And the wife, the woman in the relationship, she took out an ad in the personal column, and she said the things that she likes. And she was looking for somebody who liked those same things. And she wrote, "Do you like pina coladas? Do you like getting caught in the rain? If you're not into yoga and you've got half a brain." Then she goes on, she said, "I'd love to meet you." And her husband, unbeknown to her, he's also looking at the personal columns because they've grown distant. And he looks at the personal columns and he sees, oh my gosh, here's a woman that likes pina coladas and she likes getting caught in the rain and she's not into yoga and she's got half a brain. Because I like that too. And so they communicate and they make an appointment to meet at a bar called O'Malley's. Come with me and escape. And then it says, when she walked in the room, he said, I knew her smile in an instant. I knew the curve of her face. It was his wife. It was my own lovely lady. You see, even though he was married to her, he didn't know her. That's the way that I feel when I do these database contact imports or when I do a screenshot import. I learn things about people that I've known for decades that I didn't know. And that's then creating the easiest outreach I've ever seen in my life. So I do a screenshot import. It tells me all about the person. And then this is a simple message that I sent. I've recently begun using AI and I've learned some things about you I didn't know. I didn't know that you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, whatever it was they said. I didn't know that these are the things you're into. I can help with Lev AI. It is the simple, it is the easiest introduction I have ever seen. I use Lev AI for a screenshot import. It tells me things about that person that I thought I knew for 25 years that I don't know. It's the easiest touch. I had no idea that your objective is. I had no idea that your goal is. I can help you. I'm excited about that with you and for you. It's magic, folks. I've not had a single person receive that message and not respond positively. This is exciting. What do I have to do next? Everything that we do is designed to provoke an increased number of the revenue producing activities. Know and understand this. There are only 4 revenue producing activities in any direct selling business, and this is a direct selling company. Remember, we have 3 separate ways where a person may choose to interact with us. A person can use Lev AI in their business, and everyone should. Because what I just described to you, would that not also be appropriate? Would that not be an important thing for a real estate agent to know? Would it not be important for a real estate agent to know things about their client or proposed client that they didn't know? Would that be of value? Of course it would. Would it be important for someone who is an attorney to know if they're looking for new business? Would it not be important to know what potential clients really want, not what they see on the surface? See, what I'm describing to you is of inordinate value to any small business owner, literally to anyone. And so we have one group of people, those who will use Lev AI to grow their existing business, whatever it is. We have a group of people who do what they do, not because they love it, but because it's what they know how to do. We would like to help them gradually transition from the point of doing what they do because they have to doing Lev AI as a business, not just for their business because they want to. That's different. And then the other side of it is those people who, like me, don't do it as one of the things that they do. Lev AI is what I do, not one of the things that I do. This is what I do. Okay, so what we've looked at so far is what? We've talked about the idea that we need to train our AI. If we don't train our AI, it is not going to know how to help us. The more we train it, the more effective it will be. Now, the next thing to look at is the chat. This would be similar to a chat GPT, but chat GPT is generic. And so each day that I use this, the more this is sourcing information that is specifically appropriate to me, not just drawing generic content. And if I write a question, if I ask it a question, or if you have chosen to load my content into your AI, if you ask a question, then instead of pulling generic information from the internet, it will pull a specific question as it relates to our business, and it will pull it from the files that I have uploaded from more than 200 hours of YouTube videos and so on. And so we now get not generic, but specific questions. And so I am a newcomer to the Philippines. How should I create relationships? Okay, now this is just a very simple question, but what we seek to do is have every person acting, not being frozen in doubt, fear, or insecurity. So I'm brand new to the Philippines. I just came. I don't know what to do. Well, that's a logical question a lot of people get have. How do I develop relationships? How do I start? What do I do? Now, these would be things that should be fairly obvious to all of you if you've worked in the Philippines. But here's just telling me, here's some ideas. How might I begin? Welcome to the Philippines. Creating meaningful relationships in a new country can be both exciting and challenging. And now it gives some ideas and suggestions. The whole thought is to not be stuck. And it's to not, quite frequently, what I find is that there are some people who will ask me the most mundane, sometimes seemingly ridiculous questions where the answers are so obvious. There's some of those kinds of people. There are way more people who are a little ashamed or embarrassed to ask a simple question because they know the answer should be obvious or they perceive that. This gives a person some, not someone really, but something to talk to that they don't have to worry about how are they going to feel about me because I posed this question. And one thing I encourage all to know, we should never underestimate the amount of self-centered fear that people live in. What I just said, the ability, the ease of writing a question into here and letting a machine answer instead of asking a person and being concerned about what the person might think of me because I asked the question. Don't think that that is not an everyday, multiple time per day interior thought of all of those people who don't succeed. People are frozen in self centered fear, and they do not do that which is required to succeed because of that fear. Anything that we do to get a person across the bridge from fear to security will result in more of the correct activities. If there are more of the correct activities, then what Cicero said years ago will again prove to be true. The skill to do will come from the doing. And so, we have here several things. We can help with crafting the post. We can also help with crafting the reply to it. And we'll come to that in a second. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to illustrate writing a social post. Now there are a variety of ways that we can do this. First, if I do an instant post, if I just click surprise me, and sometimes that says instant post and sometimes it says surprise me, it kind of rotates around to, draw our eye to it. If I ask it to write an instant post, then I haven't given it any information whatsoever except what I wrote in training my AI. And so now, without telling it anything, it will just take a look at whatever I wrote and it will write something that it believes would be a something that would be consistent with me. So having grown up in rural Idaho, I've always valued a strong work ethic. It shaped my journey and drive towards financial independence. I'm curious, what early life experience shaped your work ethic? Share your story with me. One of the things we're trying to do is grow one's social media presence. The vast majority of people, upon arising this morning, did not simply click a button like I just did to give success a chance. By simply clicking that button and then doing this post, what this is suggesting is that as a result of hashtag work ethic, hashtag financial independence, hashtag life's lessons, there are certain eyes who will be drawn to this as a result of those hashtags. And so having simply, I wake up in the morning and I click that, boom, that then gives me the post. I rush off to work, to my job, to my business, whatever it is. And nevertheless, that has started the process of growing my social media presence. That will draw eyes, that will draw clicks, that will draw likes as a result of the hashtags, the people who have expressed what their interests are. It will find people who have that kind of an interest and it will begin provoking an interaction between me and them. Now we can come down here. In my own case, I am more likely to do content heavy posts. I don't do a lot of one liners. That's not typically me. But when I say that's not typically me, that is in error. I've had one of the biggest careers in the direct selling industry in the world for the last 35 years, and I have a very limited social media presence. Remember at the outset, we stated that we can measure one's future results by measuring one's current influence. And the easiest way to measure one's current influence is to look at one's current social media presence. If Jerry has 1 million social media followers, that's a lot of influence. That means there's 1 million people out there who have opportunities, who have ideas, who have thoughts, who look to Jerry as some sort of a leader, or they would not be his social media contact or follower. So if one has broad social media presence, that's reflective of broad influence. If one has broad influence, then opportunity looks for us. If Cecilia has broad influence, opportunity is looking for her because of that influence. If she's not a person of influence, she has to look for opportunities. That's a lot different. If opportunity is looking for you because you're perceived as a person of influence, your results will be greater than if you have to go out and look for opportunity. When we grow your social media presence, we grow your influence and we grow your future market value. So now let's come down here. And what did I do? I clicked on this time, I clicked on more post types. And then I came down here and I clicked on the long post. So now I need to only write a sentence. Now, the couple of things it's going to ask me to do is determine what am I trying to provoke here. And first I need to look up here and say, remember over there on the top left, am I going to write a personal post or a business post? Well, I'm going to write a business post. And now it's going to ask me what is my profile that I might want to create. And so yesterday, though I am not involved in Talk Fusion, I was talking to a person yesterday who is involved in a company called Talk Fusion, and he asked, could this help me? Well, yes. And I showed him how. I showed them how that in the profile of Talk Fusion, if I chose to use that profile, it would write a very, very nice message about using video email, which is the company he was involved with. Now, I'm not involved in that company, but I was illustrating by creating a profile how this project could help that particular business. Well, now I'm going to do this. Now, you see, I have several different ideas here. One, I was meeting with a candidate, and so I'm teaching you now what I do. I was meeting with a candidate 2 days ago, not a person who's involved in the business, one looking at the business. That candidate was a gentleman named Brandon McCoy, and Brandon McCoy is a brick mason. But Brandon McCoy did not have a website. And so we created a business profile for Brandon and then created a website for him. It took about 90 seconds. And that was I mean, so why in the world how could he make any choice except to say yes? And so he, of course, enrolled on the spot. Why did he enroll? Because I showed him that for no added money, simply for the price of his subscription, we could grow his business. And so what was that me doing? That was me both up here. Remember, I am not involved in Talk Fusion, nor do I have any interest in being involved in Talk Fusion. But I know people who are, and they want to know, could this help them grow their business? And so I showed them, yes, this is how. McCoy Masonry, Brandon McCoy, he's not involved in direct selling, never has been. What he is interested in purely and only is in growing his masonry business. And so we created a profile, we grew a website for him. He, of course, acted. Now we come down to where do I look personally? Where do I post to find my own candidates? Because there I was showing you illustrations of using it for another person. Well, part of my life experience is that I had a very, very severe drug and alcohol problem for a long time. I've now been alcohol and drug free for many, many years. Sobriety remains an important part of my world. If I post in my persona of sobriety rocks, that will attract a certain audience, a totally different audience, wouldn't it, than if I am interacting as a globally recognized leader in the network marketing industry. And so when I'm interacting in the sobriety rocks, I am helping people get sober. But you know what? The people who helped me get sober have become among my best, closest friends. And I've done an enormous amount of business with them over time as we became close. When I help a new person get sober, I'm doing it for the purpose of helping them get sober. But the side effect is we very frequently wind up doing business together. This attracts a very different audience than if I'm attracting in just being a dad. So why would I do this one? I am widely known as a network marketing leader. If I post under the auspices of being a network marketing leader, then let's imagine for a moment that you are involved in Herbalife. Well, if you're involved in Herbalife and you think of me as a leader in another company, the last thing you would want is your audience listening to me because they might get swept away into my idea. And so when I post under just being a dad, this is to get an audience that I wouldn't otherwise get. You see, they don't think of me as a network marketing leader. And think of my own life experience. I'm 68 years old. So, what is one of the requirements for me? If I want to build a business that is going to go on for 2 decades, I need to be enrolling some people who are younger than me. If everyone I enroll, what is my natural course? My natural course is that I'm going to enroll people who are like me. That's my natural peer group. And so if I allow myself to just follow my natural peer group, I'll interact with a bunch of aging, wealthy white men, because that's my natural circle of influence. But when I'm interacting in just being a dad, see, I have an 8-year-old, I'm 68. but I have an 8-year-old. I want to interact with people who have 8-year-olds that are 30 years younger than me because I know they need to fund the education of that child. I know what all of their interests and needs are. Now, Jerry, he's lucky like me. He's my age and he has young children. That's a wonderful, beautiful gift that we have. But isn't it logical that if I'm posting under just being a dad, most of the eyes I'm going to get are going to be 30 years younger than me, and they're all going to have a different financial need than if I'm interacting with my natural peer group. And so by creating these different business profiles, it is then giving me the opportunity to appeal to different audiences. And I would ask you, in the absence of Lev AI, how are you going to do that? In fact, I should ask you, in the absence of Lev AI, how have you been doing that? And the answer is you have not. And that is opportunity lost. When I post under leadership personified, this is content that is leadership centered, and anyone in any network marketing company would be well advised to receive and to review that information. Anyone in any network marketing company would. And these are people who are not concerned about me because they perceive me as being a potential competitor because I'm in a network marketing company. Well, in this case, I'm going to do a business post, and I am going to do that business post about Lev AI. Okay. And now, what is my objective? Do I want to inspire, educate, entertain, promote? Well, I'm going to promote. And we could do it in literally any language in the world. So now I'm just going to write a sentence. Are you benefiting from the global adoption of AI? So that's all I said. Are you benefiting from the global adoption of AI? Now, for those of you who've been around the direct selling industry, ask yourself this question. Could the vast majority of people you've ever interacted with, could they write one sentence like this? And now let's forget whether or not are they participating in the network marketing industry? Do you know anyone who is trying to build a real estate business, a mortgage business? Do you know anyone who's trying to sell anything? Well, you could then put, are you benefiting from the growth in any industry, right? Doesn't have to be AI. And then we let it write a post. Now, could anyone that you know, could the majority of people that you know write that one sentence? Almost everybody could, but almost nobody could then take that one sentence and turn it in to the depth of content that we'll see here in a moment. What this does is allow any newcomer to appear far more able than they are. It will allow any newcomer to appear far more able than they are. Now, I don't want to ever mislead, ever. And so my objective is to help the person become as able as they appear very quickly. But I do want to help people become profitable in advance. See, over the course of my whole career, I have taught that one must gain new knowledge, develop new skill, and refine character attributes in advance of improved productivity, that we must become more before we will get more. That's been true my whole career. Now, in this case, we get a chance to earn something greater than our current knowledge and skill base would justify. Make sure that we don't allow the temporary crutch to become permanent in any area where it should not. So, for example, I use AI as a crutch to address my permanent disability of I do not speak Tagalog. I don't, and I'm not going to any time during this life. I don't speak Mandarin. I don't speak Japanese. And so I use artificial intelligence as a permanent crutch to help me deal with permanent disabilities. However, it is a temporary disability for me to not know how to write a correct post. And so I should then only use the crutch as I'm gathering knowledge. I don't want to get paid for a skill I don't have. I want to use the crutch to help me develop the skill and gather the knowledge. Because logic says to me that sooner or later, the laws of the universe are such that equilibrium will be restored. So this gives people a chance to gain profitability in advance of knowledge gathering and leadership development skills. That is a critically important thought. But once again, could anyone write the sentence, are you benefiting from the global adoption of AI? My answer is yes. Could most people write this? My answer is no. Are you benefiting from the global adoption of AI? The world stands at the precipice of a new era, one where artificial intelligence is not just a technological marvel confined to the corridors of tech giants, but a fundamental driver of growth in virtually every industry. At Lev AI, we are dedicated to making AI accessible, ensuring that even those without technical expertise can leverage this powerful tool. And on it goes. Well, folks, this is good. It's like really good. And what it's done is it has drawn from the knowledge that I taught it in training my AI, and it's gathering knowledge from my interactions, every one that I've made up until now. Well, ask yourself again this question. Do you know people who could write this sentence? Are you benefiting from the global adoption of AI? Well, just about everybody could write that sentence. Could just about everybody write the corresponding post over here? No, almost no one could. Now, remember that you're seeing us in the earliest moments of the rolling out of our business. Today, you can see it is highlighted Facebook. I could highlight LinkedIn and the others. Today, it does not. The system today will not allow me to do a one button click and immediately post to all of the social media networks. Today, it is individual. And today, if I were to post this, I would simply copy and paste this text and I would manually post it on Facebook. Sometime about between November 1st and November 10th, this will become automated. And I can, if I choose, simply push post and I can then assign it to post on any one of the networks or to post it across all of them simultaneously. Today, at this moment, were I to post it, I would do it by copying it and pasting it into the specific social media network that I've described. Now, what if I think that that is just, it sounds great, it's really good, but it's too long. The one thing I want you all to do is let Lev AI do what it does. Don't second guess it. And that was one of those mistakes that I made in the first week. I said, well, I like this better. I like that better. No, I've had a very, very big career in the direct selling industry, like really big. There are people whose life successes are no greater than mine, who have 1 million friends or followers. I have 100,000. And so when I started, I would read it and then I'd come in here and I'd start changing it. No, Randy, don't change it. Let it do what it does. It does what it does better than you can. That's why I'm using it. And so I encourage you to not second guess it. Don't make it longer. Don't make it shorter. And those things are simple enough. Don't go in and rewrite it. Don't edit it yourself. What if when I read that, I want to change the tone? I want to be a little more professional. Well, then I just said, click regenerate, and it will generate the same ideas, but in a somewhat more professional way. What if I wanted to be a little more humorous? Well, then I could click humorous. What if I want to be a little more excited? Then I can click excited. And so it lets me change the tone. Things like that are good. That's what AI is doing for you. Don't go in and edit the content. Let the content be what AI said. Now, also magically, this is quite a thing. What if I want to just grab people's attention? People who know me, they kind of know that I don't speak Norwegian. They just kind of know that. And so when I ask it to make the post in Norwegian, I might be doing this because I have a candidate in Norway who speaks Norwegian. More likely, I would write it because my circle of influence knows that whatever this language is, Randy doesn't understand. And me simply doing a post in this language will cause what? A question, a like, a comment. Anything that starts the dialogue gives me an opportunity for success. Now, let's go back over here to the field where it says, are you benefiting from the global adoption of AI? And I'm going to add something to it. We can all earn millions. Okay. Well, you can kind of guess that that is a problematic post. This is now going to write it just like I asked it to. It's going to regenerate it and it's going to add in this content of we can all make millions. Well, you know very well that attorneys general, regulators of various kinds are not going to like that kind of information. And so somewhere, if we read all the way through this thing, it would come down, okay, let I in this exciting journey to future-proof success. Well, that's a bold statement. If we read through all of this, it's going to be talking about making money and so on. I encourage you to not just yourself, but encourage others to use the compliance check on your first 10 or 15 posts, because it will then tell you if something was said that is likely to lead to a difficulty. Now, this is taking a moment or two to scan it, because that was a long post. If it were a short post, it would take seconds. But in about another minute and a half or 2 minutes, it's going to post up and it's going to, whoa, very high risk, income claims, unsubstantiated product benefits, call to action with false promises, lack of typical. I mean, this is all kinds of problems. All sorts of bad things happen if you write that kind of a post. And so now, if you're insane, you can go over to the bottom right and click accept the risk and continue. Don't ever do that. Instead, right above it says update post as suggested. I updated it and now it just wrote that which I needed to say, but it did it in such a way that was compliant. Now, each time I'm illustrating any part of this, I'm asking each person to ask themselves this question. Can you see how this would produce something more than $1,200 in value to your life and to your business in the next 12 months? Everybody wants immediate results. I want immediate results. Folks, be patient with yourself. This is a process. Lev AI cannot make your business grow in 10 times this month. It can't do that. If one wants to have the most rapid flow of income development, then the way to do that is to be a conduit to other people's use of Lev AI itself and to generate income inside the compensation plan. What we're doing is growing your knowledge, we're growing your candidate base, we're growing your ability to interact with each type of candidate. This is a process. And so what I ask every person to do is this: if you're going to do this at all, do it with the idea that this is a 12-month commitment, that I'm going to pay my subscription for the next 12 months and I'm going to interact with Lev AI every day of that 12-month period. And I'm going to give it 12 months to teach me to grow my presence, to grow my business 12 months from now. I'm going to look back and say, did I get $1,200 worth of value out of this? And the answer is going to be yes. But do not suggest to people that as a result of starting to use Lev AI in their business, that it's going to make an immediate change in results. It will not. It will make a scaled, gradual change in results as people learn how to use it and begin using it more effectively. And of course, all I'm doing is saying that let's just tell people the truth. Let's just tell people the truth. If they want Lev AI to generate immediate income for them, they will not generate immediate additional income by using Lev AI in their existing business. They will generate immediate income by using Lev AI as a business in addition to using it in their business. And if people join us with those ideas, then they're going to be happy. Okay, so now I come down here, and if I want to simply write a message, well, then I can reply to a social media post. So once again, don't immediately say, well, I know how to reply to a social media post. No, you don't, or you'd have 1 million followers right now. And my guess is you don't have 1 million followers. If you did, you'd probably not be on this Zoom right now with me. So don't say to yourself, as I made the mistake of, well, I know how to do that. No, I don't, or I'd have 1 million followers. And so if I want to reply to a social post, what does it want me to do? It simply has me go to Facebook, Instagram, any of the media networks. I simply copy the text of any post that is already there. I paste it here, and it will then create for me the reply. And what is the reply designed to do? It is designed to improve engagement. It improves engagement. And so when it improves engagement, and we'll go and we'll take a look. So if I just I'll go to a social media post here. Give me 1 second. I'll find one. Ba-doom, boom. Find just anyone's social media post and I will copy one. Okay, so now I have just copied a social media post. It wouldn't have mattered which one I went to. And I'm going to go back into my Lev AI. And so here I am going to paste. So I just copied a social media post. And now what I want to do is generate a reply to that post. And so, and this, by the way, the social media post, I'll just text it right here. The social media post this is what I put up today. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. Samantha did this. We're doing a live business presentation a couple of hours from now. And so Samantha posted this. Excited to explore the future of AI together. Join me at our Lev AI live presentation at noon today in Clearwater, Florida. Discover how we're simplifying AI for everyday business. No tech degree needed. Let's drive growth and efficiency with powerful insights and information. See you at 600 Druid Road East. And then it told me, here's how to respond. And I have to stop myself because this is not exactly what I would say if I were writing it myself. I need to stop myself and understand that this is writing what I should say to improve engagement. It's not going to pat me on the back and say, Attaboy, Randy, what you would have written is better. No, it's teaching me what I should say. And so here's how it says to respond. Can't wait to see what you'll unveil at Lev AI today. It's amazing how you're making AI accessible for everybody. Looking forward to seeing just how this will revolutionize the business world. That is my responded post, and that will improve engagement. And so what it does is it allows me to determine what is my message type, what kind of message am I going to write. I can reply to a social media post. I can do a cold outreach. I can start a conversation. I can write a social post, all of the above. Now let's come clear back down here. We're going to clear down here to my websites. And so let's assume for a moment that I'm going to build a website and I'm going to add a new one. So what do I want to do? Well, I'm going to build a website just in the name of Randy Schrader. What's the name of my website? Randy Schrader Leadership. Okay, that's my website name. And what is the tone going to be? The tone is going to be, I'm going to call it formal. And what's the URL going to be? I get to choose that. I'm going to call it Randy Schrader Leadership. I may already have used this, I'm not sure. And now you see it will let me create a website. It will let me create a sales funnel for the website. It will let me create a landing page. Right now, let's just create a website. And anyway, we'll just do it. This, again, it takes less than 2 minutes to create the website shell and would take less than 10 minutes to completely complete the website. And so here it's created my website shell. It asked me to put my logo up here at the top. That's a push and click about Randy Schrader. At Randy Schrader, we empower micro enterprise leaders through transformative leadership skills, guiding them on personal and professional growth journeys. Our mission is to equip individuals with essential tools for industry success, fostering innovation and excellence. Okay, all I do is click these buttons away. When I click it away, it lets me post in a legitimate testimonial. I mean, literally, it's a 3 minute effort. That's all it takes. Provides the services. I can add a shopping cart to it. If I choose to publish it, I need only click right here, publish, and this will be an actual live website on the World Wide Web in 30 seconds. And there will be no hosting fee. The website is Randy Schrader Leadership at levweb.ai. There is no hosting fee. It costs me nothing to create it. That is inclusive in the overall Lev AI solution. Once again, we seek to find value. Anybody who is, don't save anyone who is currently operating a website of any kind. It can replace it. This will do everything any other website will do, and it will do it with literally no cost associated with it. So my whole intention when I go through an introduction is to illustrate to each person how Lev AI can cause what they're doing right now to become more profitable. And it is to illustrate to each person that the value associated with this is dramatically greater than the cost associated with it. I look at this, the idea that we have a 2.2 billion candidate list who have opted in to hear information about entrepreneurship, about home-based business, about artificial intelligence. That is worth $99 a month to a person who knows how to use it. Mike, adding a new lead, going to any social media presence. It does not need to be your friend. I don't need to be your social media contact. You can go to my social media page. You can do a screenshot, click candidate profile, and it will tell you things about me that my children don't know. And it will give you an opportunity to interact with me differently than you might otherwise interact. We can create personal social media posts. And in my own case, so you know, there's no such thing as personal social media for me. Social media is all about business. It's the only reason I use it. I don't use it socially. So even every personal post is for me about creating a contact. It is about creating a contact that can be added to my business funnel somewhere. You've seen the various posts that we can create about our business leads. We know how to turn contacts into sales by guiding them through the sales funnel and so on. What I've just illustrated for you is a suite of tools that you could not acquire. Each one of them individually would cost about the same amount that the entire tool suite costs. This allows every person to, with literally in the first moment, anyone can be better than their current knowledge and skill base would make seem logical. Literally anyone. And anyone who is simply willing to act. This does not require a significant amount of advanced knowledge. This requires purely and only a willingness to act. If you are willing to act, then the process is virtually assured to work. You also saw at the very outset that I introduced myself speaking Tagalog. How magic is that? Is it not 100% chance that things of this nature will provoke conversation? You can't, I mean, Cecilia, if you send a message to a counterpart that lives in Japan and he or she knows very well you don't speak Japanese, but it's your digital avatar speaking in fluent Japanese, will that not create interest? Will they, Cecilia, that was cool. How did you do it? You see, the whole thing I've discovered over the course of my whole career is that almost anyone can enter a conversation. If somebody says, that was cool, how did you do that? We can all join that conversation. What's much more difficult to do is to provoke the conversation. What do I say to make someone want to listen? When instead I can use this tool to cause someone to want to have conversation. Entering a conversation is dramatically easier. And so what do? We engage in a process. This, by the way, also is a change for me. Over the course of my entire career, my message has been the business, the business, the business, the business, the business. And here is the product that supports the business. You just saw we just spent an hour describing the product. I didn't say a darn thing to you about how the compensation plan works. I didn't say anything about that. I spent an hour describing a product. Why? Because 100% of people you know are going to be required to use AI. All the people you know who use phones, they're going to use AI. All the people you know who are on the internet, they're going to use AI. All the people you know who are using a computer, they're going to use AI. If you become a conduit to their use, then you will have done them a favor because you will help them be more effective in whatever their business is. You will have done them a favor because you'll have shown them a mechanism where they can make money in Lev AI, and you will have grown yourself a business. So, all that being said, Cecilia or Jerry, I'll turn it back over to you or anybody else. Any question, thought, comment, how can I help? Folks, before I even turn that over, these are precious days. I always invite people to listen to what I say. Far more importantly, I invite them to observe what I do. If you observe what I do right now, you'll say, Randy is treating this not like a moment of urgency. I am treating it like it is an emergency. Why? Because every person I know is going to use AI anyway. And if they are already using it before I talk to them, then I have to take them away from some other company. That's hard. If, on the other hand, I get to talk to them first, I get the first bite of the apple. I get to show them what AI is first. Now I get that subscriber base and I get the power of incumbency. I want you to have the power of incumbency, the one who has the account. It's easier to retain it. If you have a Netflix account, you've probably had it for years and you probably didn't change when Hulu came out. This is our opportunity to create the subscribing base before someone is a subscriber to some other AI solution. We offer the best solution at the best price, and you get to create the subscribing base before they become someone else's subscriber. All that said, Jerry, I'll turn it over to you.
Amazing. I am just blown away. I mean, it's just every time I hear you talk, man, it's like, what? I almost feel like you're not even there. I feel like you're AI. It's a wonder. And so anyway, yeah, I mean, we've got the tools. It's like Snap-on tools. That's what we
Right.
have. We have a Snap-on toolbox. If you're going to go and have a car worked on, let's say you have a Mercedes or a Cadillac, and you pull up to a shade tree and you got a mechanic there, it's all greasy, changing oil in a car, or if you pull into a spotless bay where you see a big old red box that says Snap-on Tools. Which mechanic do you want to working on your car? We have the tools, you know, and the market's there. Like you said, everybody's going to need it. Everybody's going to use it. All we have to do is just share it. And you know, having people like Randy, I mean, he's an expert at doing this. We don't have to do this. You know, we just have to follow his instructions and we just have to market this. But you know, he's going to be doing we've got him, you know, just tons and tons of recordings and his presentations. Now he's doing live presentations. He's in Florida right now. He lives in Utah, but he's out in Florida right now, and they're doing one-on-one, kneecap, eyeball to eyeball presentations. So yeah, we're AI, but he's live. He's there
Right.
talking to small groups, and that's what we want to do here in the Philippines. What we find here in the Philippines is people don't really want to get on a Zoom call. I
Right.
think we had like 14 people scheduled for tonight. And I believe that we got one new person that actually showed up. Everyone else, I think, canceled. But you know, it's they can't wait for us to go buy them a cup of coffee and a donut and sit down and show it to them. You know, at a restaurant. So this is going to be exciting for us here in the Philippines. So anyway, I'm going to give my wife an opportunity to say something and share her comments real quick. Randy's got to get going here, so let's go ahead. You know, Marcel, if you got a comment or two, let's go ahead and do that.
Cecilia, you'll have to unmute. You're muted right now. Cecilia asked to unmute. There you go.
Now, everybody unmute.
Unmute. All right.
There we go.
I think this is very exciting. Jerry knows that I've been wanting to get into AI a long time ago, but I was going to do it for websites and YouTube and all that. And this is just a wonderful opportunity. I think that not everybody, not every entrepreneur or network marketer or aspiring business person would like would like a very complicated AI solution. This is very simple. This is very simple. It's for everyone. Um, People appreciate it, and I'm excited to present it. I would like to request for this presentation that you did to be emailed to us, or to at least
We'll have the presentation.
email
Yes.
us. Yeah, so we
Okay.
can
Of course.
model after.
Yes.
Excellent.
And Cecilia and Jerry and all of you, please know this. What Jerry said was accurate. I am here right now, even though this is a technology company, technology
Yeah.
grows the value of people, but technology can never replace people. If we ever think that, we're making a
Correct.
mistake. And I want you all to know that you would need only invite me and I will come to the Philippines. This is what works for me. The reason I succeed is because I know moms and dads and little boys and little girls, and I know dogs and cats. No business gets stronger than the relationships of the people who are in the business together. And the name of our company is what? Leveraging AI. Folks, leverage Randy,
AI.
leverage me.
Leverage Randy
Yes.
while
Really?
he's
Yes.
available, and he won't be available forever. So we've got to. We're going to take you up on that. I mean, we are going to really do this. And
Okay.
Andrew, Pastor Andrew, would you go ahead? I know you'd like to make a comment real quick before Randy's got to go here. Pastor Andrew, you there with us? Okay. I know that David Lambert's really sick tonight. He contacted me early, said, Jerry, I'll be on the call, but please don't ask me to talk because he's having a really tough time. He's sick.
Sorry, David.
And so we're going to be praying for him tonight. And my brother, David, which is Tata Boy here, he's also very, very sick at home tonight. And he's
There's
on the
something
line.
going on here.
Yeah.
And he's asked us to not call on him tonight. He's having trouble with his voice. But
Okay.
I want to thank you, Mr. Lambert, and my brother David. We want to thank you guys for joining. I know you got a lot out of this, but I won't call on you. And then we got someone here named Ed. I don't know who Ed is, but Ed, are you there? I'd like to know who you are.
I don't see Ed on my screen.
I have an Ed here. Anyway, it says
He's still
Ed.
connecting to audio.
Yeah, it says connecting
Okay.
to audio. I think he's not connected. It says connecting to audio,
Okay.
but it's not connected, so he
Okay.
can't hear us.
So very well. I'm going to go ahead and just Pastor Andrew, are you there? Last chance. 3,
he
2,
is
1.
here.
Well,
He's
so
here, but
folks,
he's not talking to us tonight.
let me just say in conclusion, folks, you'll find with me, you don't know me yet. I hope we get to know each other really well.
Yes.
I'll take a wild step out here. I will tell you in advance, none of you have had a better business partner than me, and you've probably never had a business partner like me. That's the truth. And so put me to the
And-
test. Let me do what I
Yes.
do on your behalf and on our shared behalf. And please know that I am deeply and personally committed to Cecile and Jerry's success, and that commitment
Thank you.
extends to each of you. So Jerry, I'll leave it to you for any concluding comments, and I got to be on my
Yeah.
way. Thank you.
All right. I just want to close in prayer. I want to thank God tonight for Lev AI. I want to thank you, Lord. Lord, you're so good. You're so good to us, Lord. And I thank you for my dear brother Randy and his wife Samantha. I thank you, God, that the leadership is there. It's in place, Lord, and they are available. They have proven already that they will be here for us and that they will support our team here in the Philippines, Father. We thank you for this wonderful country. Lord, there's so many people here that need money, and we're here, Lord, and we know that we can train these folks and we can raise up an army, God. We thank you for David Lambert tonight. We pray for his sickness, Lord, that he will be well. We ask for healing power to take place right now over David Masetta. Father, I thank you for these two men who have stuck by me. Lord, I thank you so much for Pastor Andrew. He's such a godly man. And Lord, I thank you for the 25 years that he spent here in the Philippines serving you, Lord, and bringing people to Christ in Dumaguete, Lord. And I can't wait to join him again down there in Dumaguete, Father. Thank you for my wife. Lord, we thank you for the team that we're putting together. And Lord, just give us wisdom. Lord, give us favor and give us the courage, Lord, to go out and share this wonderful opportunity. And we just give you praise for that. And we give you glory for it in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you,
Amen.
Randy. We appreciate you, brother. We love
Thank
you.
you. Cecilia, it's a great seeing you. We'll put together a call with Samantha in the next couple of days as soon as we get back home, okay? Beautiful. Talk to you
All
guys
right.
later.
Okay.
Have a
Y'all
wonderful
have
day.
a great
Thank you.
meeting there in Florida.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.